I don't know if you noticed, but in the gym, one of the TVs was playing like a
A fucking food eating goddamn
yeah.
competition.
I think it was like a documentary because it started showing like how they trained. Like the one dude was lifting weights with his jaw. It was like connected like a string through his teeth or something. I didn't realize
Yeah,
it
that shit
was
was dumb.
I didn't realize it was that much of a commitment. And then like it would pan to the faces of them eating and it like made me want to throw up. They looked like they were gonna cry, but like so uncomfortable. And then I was like, is that how people feel when they sometimes see like power lifters' faces? Sometimes are pretty bad.
I don't understand why they put a fucking TV in front of the damn weights.
Yeah, and the freeway section's really weird. Usually it's like just in front of cardio.
Is that patch of trees over there in the
Yeah,
middle?
in the middle. Yeah, I didn't see it.
That looks like somewhere a monster lives.
Gator-zilla.
It's like in the middle of like this. What is it? A swamp? Like what the fuck is it?
Marsh. I think marsh is when there's not any significant trees. Fauna is what it is. Flora is plants that stay like below a certain amount of feet, and fauna, and fauna is tall stuff.
Oh, the Publix was closed.
I thought it was closed too. Where's that truck going? Maybe it was temporarily closed. Maybe it was like a remodel thing.
And maybe we live in the fucking Matrix. And that truck was supposed to be something else, but they blitzed.
I also, weirdly enough, saw on my TikTok someone works at Publix today. And I've never seen anything else about Publix ever.
You know what I wonder? Sometimes I wonder, like you don't know what other people think. I wonder if being like extremely conscious of like everything going on just frequently leads to depression.
Isn't that a higher intelligence usually associated with?
Well, yeah, higher intelligence does typically lead to depression, but higher intelligence also doesn't mean you have higher consciousness.
Oh.
Someone with very high intelligence could be pretty like I don't want to say low consciousness.
Right, so can you define consciousness? Like
Consciousness is when you like
self-awareness?
ponder and question a lot of things. Like what is the meaning of life? Why do we do these things that we do?
Like a phys like a psychology type
Are you
look?
gonna try and say a philosopher?
That. I for some reason I was thinking physiology and I was like that's not the right word.
Yeah, normally philosophers would be considered very conscious, yeah. It's just like when you think a lot about what is going on around you, why other people do the things they do, why you do the things you do, why you have things that you can't stop doing. Like if you have an addiction, why do you have that addiction? You try and like go back in time in your head and like understand, well, where did this stem from and what is the habits that I do that reinforce this? Things like that like you can be very intelligent and not think those things at all. Like
Yeah.
you could 100% be a fucking physicist. Well, I don't know about physicist because physicists kind of forced to think about the way things interact in the universe. But like you could definitely be like a mathematician and just be like, these are the rules of math and
Yeah.
that's how it works, and then never question, well, why is it that way? Who decided that? Like you could just be someone who's very smart and just not really question a lot of stuff about it.
Yeah. I mean, that's what one of the episodes you sent me of Joe Rogan, she was saying her dad was a physicist, but her mom was more spiritual, and they definitely had some spiritual things in the house, and the dad would see it and flat out ignore it because he couldn't explain it.
Yeah, because he was intelligent and he used science as his religion, so therefore anything that disproves his religion all of a sudden can't be true.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. That's also why they say most religious people are lower intelligence. they don't have to necessarily be lower intelligence, although they usually are. They definitely have lower consciousness, because it's very hard to just agree with one religion if you think about all of the other religions. Because you have to sit there and think, I am correct. This religion A is 100% correct. And every other religion, every time they disagree with religion A, is 100% wrong. And then you have to think, well, how did this get here? And then you have to question, well, every time someone decided to change my religious text, or some religious texts are literally just word of mouth, or they were passed down through word of mouth because they're so old, and then eventually they were written. You are so far over there. But you can't, like, I don't understand. I understand why it would be a low intelligence thing to do. But I do wonder, though, if, like, thinking about these things, because they always say ignorance is bliss, and I think that it is true. And I think the reason is, like, the more you question things, the less answers you have. If you have 10 questions, it's not that hard to answer 10 questions.
Right.
If you have a million fucking questions, it's like the idea of the smarter you are, the more you realize you don't know.
Yeah.
Like, really stupid people think they're smart because they don't even have all of the questions to know whether they are or are not smart. Really smart people realize they're really fucking stupid because there's just so much you'll never in a million years fucking know. There's just too much to ever know. And it's like, you question. My biggest question is always, why do I do what I do? Why do I work all this overtime? And then my answer is normally like, I don't know, so that I don't have to do it in the future, I guess. And then there's a parable that Chris Williamson told to Joe Santagato, Jose Santiago. He told it to Joe, and he was like, it's the parable of the Mexican fisherman or some shit like that.
Okay.
And it was basically a rich guy pulls up on an expensive boat fishing, and for the day, and he asked the Mexican dude, like, what do you do all day? And he was like, well, I fish on this boat, and then I go have some beers with my friends, then I spend time with my wife and kids, and then I go to sleep, wake up, and do it all over again. And the rich guy was like, well, you could make this a multi-million-dollar business. And he explains all the steps of how he can make it a multi-billion-dollar business.
Yeah.
And then the Mexican guy goes, well, okay, and then what? And then he goes, that's the best part. Once you make it a multi-million-dollar business, you sell the business, or you step down and let the business work on its own, and you take the profit, and then you can be a fisherman and fucking fish all day, have beer with your buddies, hang out with your wife and kids, go to sleep, do it all again the next day. So the whole idea is like, you're working your ass off to do something you could literally be doing today. And then, right, chat has asked me this question a couple times. It was like, if you're given $10 million today, like, say I was given $10 million is what I want to retire. Right. I know that's going to be so detached from fucking reality for most of the people who hear this, but $10 million is the amount I want to retire.
Okay.
So chat was like, if you get $10 million today, would you stop working completely? Because, like, I did say, I probably wouldn't do this job, or I wouldn't work all of these hours.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like, well, would you stop working? And I was like, well, what the fuck else am I going to do? And that's kind of where it gets to the point of, like, you realize, well, my answer isn't I would move to Portugal and sit on a beach all day, because then I would just probably end up, what do they call it? Suicide? What do they call it? Fucking Kermitting? I would Kermit the frog?
Buddy, you just said every curse word in the dictionary in the last 13 minutes.
Yeah, but you're not allowed to say the other one.
Oh. You could say in Minecraft.
Well,
jump off a cliff in Minecraft or something like that.
I would Kermit the frog. Yeah, that's mine. I must coin that phrase. But yeah, I mean, if I just sat on a beach in Portugal all day, I would probably just Kermit the frog myself. But there's also let me quote some guy everyone's gonna hate. There's also the whole Andrew Tate quote where it's like, basically, I don't think he's intelligent enough to understand this, but basically he says that you just distract yourself from knowing that you're depressed. And it's like the idea that I don't know if it's even hyper intelligent people or type A personalities or what the correlation is, but there's a group of people that have to distract themselves with certain things, whether that's investing money and watching the number rise, or building a business, or working 100 hours of overtime a week, or bodybuilding, or fucking video games, whatever the fuck you wanted to say. But you have to distract yourself 24/7, and you're always looking for the new thing. And if you were to stop, you would probably be extremely depressed. And my question basically is just, what does that lead to? Because if I stop this, because it's not necessarily something I enjoy. Like, some people do enjoy what they chase. Like, some people actually enjoy, like, say they're building a business. Some people enjoy the process of building a business.
Yeah.
Some people are building a business because they feel like this is the only way I can escape poverty. Okay, so you're doing it for that. Well, then once you escape poverty, what are you doing? Well, you achieved your goal, so now what? And the question is, like, you need another thing. Like, you just end up the hedonic fucking treadmill. You just push it back, and all of a sudden you're chasing another goal. And it's like, okay, but what do you... This doesn't end. And the problem is, I feel like there's levels of intelligence to it too, because there's like guy A who's like a 500-pound fucking slob and just plays video games all day and doesn't even think about the fact that he's like a piece of shit, and like he just exists. I mean, that's obviously an extreme example, but if I start at the extreme, it'll make more sense. That guy doesn't even think about anything on a regular basis. Then there's like a level up where the guy is like, he's overweight. He's probably like 350 pounds, but he's tried to lose weight a couple different times because he knows it's not good for him. And he has a job, but he doesn't really like his job. He only works like, 40 hours a week. He just barely makes enough money. He lives with his fucking parents. He doesn't really have any future aspects. He thinks about, maybe I could do this, but he doesn't really put his foot down and do anything. So, like, he is a piece of shit, and he kind of thinks about changing, but kind of really doesn't care. And there's like the middle ground guy who's like, he's trying to do better and like actively trying, and he makes improvements, but it's like 2 steps forward, 1 step back for like a long period of time. So like technically,
it's not consistent growth.
Yeah, technically, if you plotted him on a chart and you looked at the past 5 years, where he came from to where he is now, it is progress, but it's just, it's slow and painful progress. And then there's, the two, like, I don't want to say better, but the two higher performance people, where it's like the one guy who, like, he sets a goal, he achieves it, he sets another goal, he achieves it. Well, actually, that's probably the higher type. There's probably, before that, there's the guy who, like, he sets a big goal, and he's been working towards that goal, taking the steady, small progress along the way, and he just keeps working towards that goal. And then there's the highest performer who's, like, achieving goals super quickly, and he just keeps going to the next goal, and the next goal, and the next goal, and the next goal. But I think that performance A, like, that high performer guy, he's, like, probably as depressed as the lower two. Like, yeah, he's more successful, but he's probably just as depressed because there's nothing in his life that really has meaning. If you think about, like, for example, like Elon Musk, what do you do when you're Elon Musk? What can you do?
Yeah.
What can you do? I mean, like, at this point, the dude is trying to take over the world. Like, you had to set such a big goal. You were like, I'm gonna go to the moon, I guess. Like, what? Or go to Mars. Like, I guess, yeah.
Yeah. He kind of needed, like, an almost unachievable goal.
But like, I also feel like those people, every time they talk, they're like void of emotion. They're just they're essentially robots that are just, they're literally AI. I want to achieve this goal. How do I achieve this goal? Okay, these are the steps I need to take to achieve this goal. I'm going to do it. I mean, they are probably psychopaths, which a psychopath would think like that. So it does make sense. But like, they're literally just doing anything they can to achieve their goals. And I think that's pretty much as depressing as the dude who, like, you look at and you're like, oh, you're a loser and you don't do anything. But honestly, that fucking loser's probably living a better life than most of us. Because if I could be a 500-pound loser who doesn't care about my health, dies at 45, but from now until 45, I just play video games and fucking eat McDonald's and hang out with my friends. Hey man, it's better than what I do on a regular basis.
But what's weird is you have no desire to do that.
No, the problem is not that I don't have a desire to do that. It's that I'm too conscious in the thought of, like, every time I walk by a mirror, I'd want to Kermit the Frog myself. Like, and that comes from psychological trauma, like, and body dysmorphia. Like, if I didn't have body dysmorphia, if I could completely believe in the body positivity movement, like, I was fully indoctrinated, and I just believed that
to the
at 500 pounds, I was happy and healthy and beautiful and this and that, and I didn't care, and then I don't know that I wouldn't want to be 500 pounds.
You know, have you seen the whole wave of people being like, the body positivity movement was promoted simply because they couldn't get skinny, and now that they can, body positivity died because people like Lizzo, Meghan Trainor, who were huge body positive women, are now on Ozempic and skinny.
Lizzo was not skinny 2 months ago.
Okay, maybe not skinny, but, and I also am not 100% sure she's on Ozempic. I don't think either of them have outright said they're on Ozempic.
And also, she claimed that she wasn't on Ozempic.
Right.
On the roast of Kevin Hart, she said she was not on Ozempic.
That's what I'm saying, but
well, she is significantly smaller than she was, I guess.
So people, like, they might not be on Ozempic, I don't know, but people are arguing it's weird that they got skinny right as Ozempic kind of skyrocketed when they were
lost
the faces.
60 pounds. I don't think she's on. I really don't. I don't think she's on Ozempic, dude.
She might not be.
60 pounds is, I mean, it's impressive, but also for a woman her size, doesn't require Ozempic. But also, I don't think that the body positivity movement is fake just because people choose to lose weight. I still think the body positivity movement matters because in some ways, I mean, people do what they do with every fucking movement and they radicalize it and take it too far, but the underlying core message of body positivity, that you are beautiful at any size and you deserve love, is a true statement. Like, yes. Now, the problem is when you start saying, oh, you're healthy at any size, that's just factually not true. We should not be saying factually untrue things. Your body weight, not even just fat, your actual weight has a role to play on your health. Even if you're fucking muscular, the heavier you are, the harder your heart has to work.
Yes.
That is why most people who live a long time are skinny fucking marathon runner type people, because their heart does not have to work very hard. But I have no problem with people saying, you're beautiful at any size. Now, the problem comes from the fact of, like, are people going to truly agree with that? No. But do you deserve love at any size? Yeah, I mean, we shouldn't be like, oh, I'm not going to be friends with you because you're fat. Like, that's stupid. But I mean, if you are either a man or a woman and you're looking for a sexual partner, then the odds are you are going to have a harder time if you're fat. That's just statistically true. And that shouldn't... My problem is, like, when we take true things and then all of a sudden we have a problem with them. Like, it's just true. It's not... I'm not saying something false. It'd be different if it's like, if you're fat, you're ugly. That's not true.
That's
That's an
opinion,
opinion.
yeah.
We can talk about opinions. You're allowed to have your opinion, but quite frankly, I don't think anybody gives a fuck what you think. However, if I say, mass data shows that men are less likely to make a larger woman or a woman over X number of pounds a long-term partner, if the mass data shows that, then it's just what the mass data shows. You can't be offended over what mass data shows.
Yeah.
Now, some people will take it and be like, "Well, this is a flaw in modern society." Okay, again, that's your opinion. But yeah, if you take that stance and say that it shouldn't be that way, that's fine. Just accept the fact that it is. Like, don't argue that it's not that way. It is that way. And yeah, you can try and work to change it with a movement like the body positivity movement, but also don't become disillusioned by the fact that you think that all bodies are beautiful, and understand that not everybody thinks that.
Yeah.
But then you have fucking idiots like, I can't remember that fucking dude's name, who said all fat people should be in fucking concentration camps and fit camps because they cost so much to sustain, or whatever the fuck he said. They were fucking retard. Because also, if he would have just calmed down and had a logical argument, something along the lines of like, hey, if you are heavier, and you are a higher risk for different medications, we're gonna charge you more for healthcare. Okay, that sentence makes sense. But also, I don't think it should be on your weight. I think there are measurable numbers that we can track. How about everybody has to get their blood work once a year at minimum? Like, we don't even, as a routine checkup, they don't even do blood work. You should be getting blood work at least every 6 months. You know how many people would not be on fucking insulin if they got blood work every 6 months from the time they were fucking, like, I don't know, 12 years old? If you got blood work every 6 months from the time you're 12 years old, we would be able to notice that your insulin sensitivity is, does it go up or down? I don't know. But we'd be able to see the trend to know that you're becoming diabetic. We would also be able to see the trend if your cholesterol is going up. You'd be able to see trends over a long time horizon to be like, hey, you are having problems we need to address now, rather than, hey, you're 45 and you just got diagnosed as a diabetic and you've probably been diabetic for 10 years. Sorry about it. What? But if we just did the blood work thing and then you said, hey, if your cholesterol is over this, yeah, you have to pay more. Or if you're whatever metric you want to use, and you said, hey, you have to pay more for your health insurance because of this, that would make sense.
I mean, just equate. That's the same thing as smoking. You have to pay more if you are a smoker because you're more at risk.
This country's so scared to make things illegal. I mean, I kind of get it though, because, well, there's two parts. One, this is the country of the free, or whatever the fuck. Yeah, we won't legalize drugs. That's the part. Hold on, I'll wait. I'll go back to that part. The other part is, it doesn't work to make things illegal, as we saw with the prohibition. If you made fucking smoking tobacco illegal, then people would just be selling cigarettes.
Yeah.
And then you would just be propping up crime. But also, people are making money on tobacco, which is the other problem. Because this country is not a fucking country. It's a goddamn, it's a business. It's all this country is. But the first thing I was saying, I don't understand. If you're gonna call yourself land of the free, and you're gonna let people do things like, you can drink as much as you fucking want, you can get a DUI, we're not sending you to jail the first time, might not send you to jail the second or third time. Hey man, they can kill people.
Yep.
But also, it took until recently, it's not even federally, is it federally decriminalized or legal to smoke weed yet? I don't even think it's federally legal yet.
I think it's
I don't even think, no, I don't think it's decriminalized. I'm pretty sure there are still states where you can get arrested and go to jail for smoking weed.
Is it complete? I thought it was, I think just confident. Selling is certain states.
No, I'm pretty sure.
I think it was federally decriminalized.
I'm pretty sure you're wrong. You can go to jail for possession of marijuana Um, in Florida,
What?
right now.
I did not. Only Florida?
Well, that just happened to say Florida because it knows we're in Florida.
Um,
So I'm pretty sure it's still on the state level.
hmm. Florida of all places, I did not expect.
Marijuana possession in federal court is a Class A misdemeanor that carries up to 1 year in jail and a fine of $1,000. But this is my point: is like, it's still not even federally legal to smoke weed, which is the most harmless drug possible. It does less harm than alcohol. It definitely does less harm than cigarettes, but it's probably the most harmless drug possible. Mushrooms are still not legal. Like, why don't we just, if you're gonna be the land of the free, you're gonna let everybody do everything, just make it all legal then? Can we have actual freedom? Can I just do drugs then?
Do you think this, all the studies coming out about the actual downsides of consistent smoking weed, do you think it's gonna influence more states to remake it criminal in some degree, or do you think it'll just be like tobacco and it's like, yeah, it's not good for you, but it's available?
I think that all depends on who's profiting.
Mm.
Like I said, this country is not a fucking country, it's a corporation. Whoever's profiting and whatever they want to do.
I think it's...
Which I don't understand why some big business doesn't just lobby the shit out of fucking the government and go, hey, make every drug legal, and then they just open up dispensaries with every fucking drug imaginable, and they say, but also make it to where I'm the only guy who can sell. And then you basically just go, it's illegal, and then also make it just 10 times more punishable, to like increase the punishment for possession of drugs like tenfold if you don't have, if they weren't bought from your state ran dispensary.
Mm.
And then just have, or city ran dispensary, have a fucking dispensary in every city, and then just upcharge like 300%. What?
Yeah.
Do you know how much fucking money you would make? What is the problem? What is the problem? Just at that point, yeah, we're free. I mean, technically now drugs become a luxury that most people can't afford. But hey, it's legal now. I don't, like, what do you want? I mean, I guess, or keep them illegal and then you can die from fentanyl. Me personally, I would probably do way more drugs if you just charged me 3 times more, but I knew it was fucking third party tested and I knew exactly what was in it. Like, I guess. Also, could you imagine the fucking steroids I would get? Dude, no, because if you charge me 3 times more, I'm gonna cry, actually, because steroids are fucking expensive. I mean, they're not that expensive, but they're... Like, if you charge 3 times for Primobolan, it would cost me, like, I don't... What's a bottle? A bottle right now is like $120. So you'd be charging me $360 for a gram of fucking Primo, and that would last me... I would need to spend almost $725 a month on just Primo.
That's absurd.
I mean, it would be medical grade, but also
Right.
at that point, like, how about go fuck yourself? Because I'm not spending that much money on fucking steroids. I mean, but that would solve the problem. Like, people aren't gonna buy it.
Yeah.
Either you can't afford it and you don't buy it, or you do buy it because you can't afford it, or you can't afford it and you do buy it and your life is shittier because you're a drug addict. But also, me personally, I think they should charge 300% and then use the profit to create. I'm pretty sure this was a... Let me not say this and be completely wrong, but I'm pretty sure this is RFK Jr.'s plan. Use the profit to create rehabilitation centers.
I think it's Michigan. There's some state that their weed tax specifically goes back to, I think, to the schools. Like it specifically goes directly back into their system.
The schools? Hey man,
Like public education.
let me be honest.
Funding.
I know this wasn't a popular opinion when Donald Trump said we need to get rid of the board of education. their appropriation of funds is the most dog shit thing I've ever seen in my life. And also the idea that it's tied to fucking property taxes is
Yeah.
the most, I don't know if you want to call it racist or classist, whichever one you feel more
Both.
inclined to call it, but it is the most fucked up thing. Like, it's just blatantly classist. Like, you're like, hey, poor people, go fuck yourself. What?
But if you're poor enough, well, actually, I don't know how
If
much
you're
it'll
poor enough
change.
to what? You get fucking Title One,
Yeah.
which does what for you? Oh, you get free lunch. Thanks.
No, if you're Title I, you get multiple extra support staff and you get better resources in your building.
You get some shit, but also, okay, compare a Title One school to the fucking rich school. Guarantee you, not even close.
Yeah.
The point of Title One is to take the very, very low school and try and bring it to average.
Yeah.
We're trying to get it to average. Which, did we? No, probably not. So, like, it's fucking absurd. It's literally absurd. I mean, then you would go into fucking how much teachers make and how much fucking nurses make,
Yeah.
and firefighters and police officers. Or you talk about the fact that police officers go through like fucking, is it 2 weeks or 2 months? Probably 2 months. Watch it actually be 2 weeks, and I'm just trying to be nice. But like, I think it's like 2 months.
I have no idea.
It should be like 6 years. I don't fucking know. At least 2. And I also think, like, if I designed the police force, you'd go straight from high school, you'd get your associate's degree. So you'd go straight from high school, you'd enroll in the academy. During the academy, you're going to learn basic skills. You're going to learn human psychology. You're going to learn de-escalation of conflict. You're going to learn basic things like that give you an understanding of how the human brain works, how to de-escalate situations, and how to stop people from wanting to do violent crimes and fight and all of these things. So that way we don't get to the point where you have to draw your gun. Now, of course, you may still need to draw your gun, but the goal is to greatly reduce that. And that would be the first 2 years. The next 2 years, you are still not on the streets. Absolutely fucking not. No. The next 2 years, you're going to be in the office doing paperwork. You're literally going to be an office bitch the whole time for the next 2 years. You're going to literally do the paperwork for the cops that are already on the street. Then the next 2 years after that, you're now shadowing a cop. You have basically like no fucking authority. Program. Yeah.
That's longer than military.
You know how old you'd be after 6 years?
24.
Yeah. Do you think a 24-year-old who still doesn't have their fucking prefrontal cortex fully developed should be telling fucking grown adults on the street what to do?
Yeah,
how much are you going to respect the 24-year-old? I don't know. Probably better than the 18-year-old that is our alternative fucking class. At this point, you've gone through 2 years of schooling and 2 years of filing paperwork. The purpose of filing paperwork is you know what's happening on the streets. You're learning without ever having to be in the situation. You are now learning what happened. You get to watch. I also, on top of filing paperwork, you're going to be doing body cam review. And also, we are going to test you on the body cam review. You're going to review the body cam footage. And then we're going to say, was this the correct action or the wrong action? And now you're literally the whole 4 years, you're learning the whole 4 years before you even step foot on the street. After those 4 years, the next 2 years, you're fucking just literally shadowing someone. All you're doing is watching how the police move. The senior guys are going to be telling you what to do. And that's pretty much, you're basically on a ride-along program for like 2 years straight. Then you get to be basically on your own. Not on your own, with a partner who's probably still older, but you're no longer an apprentice. You're now an official cop who's able to make their own calls on the situation. And also, quite honestly, you should probably be paid at least 25% over the median income of the area. because that would make a lot more people want to do it. And also, during the 4 years, though, matter of fact, during all 6 of those years, you should get paid median or slightly under to make it to where you have to really want to do this. But also, it's competitive. I'd say median income for the first 6 years. And also, we're going to be firing a lot of people. Rigorous testing, and you have to fire a lot of people. So that way, the people that make it out of the 6 years are intelligent and highly skilled. And also, there has to be, the ability to move up. And each step up, you have to make more money. Like, considerably more money. To the point where, like, the lead of a goddamn precinct is making, like, probably at least 75% over median income of the area. And then if you're the head of, like, a whole district, multiple precincts, you're probably making 250% more than the median income.
Wouldn't that inflate the median income eventually? Or
I mean, if you had enough police, yeah. I mean, not drastically, though. Because you're talking about, I mean, how many police do you have in an area?
Yeah, I guess, I don't know.
You have way more minimum wage workers than you do these police officers that are making more money. It would technically slowly skew it, yeah, but it wouldn't, like, drastically fucking blow it out of proportion. It's not an average, it's a median. If it was an average, it would blow it out of proportion way more. But I think the same thing for nurses. Nurses already pretty much do the hard part. They just don't get paid for it.
Yeah.
Because the way the nursing is set up, you go through hard fucking schooling, and then you get the shittiest job possible for, like, the first couple years. A lot of them go fucking night shift ER, fucking dealing with just the worst, I don't want to say the worst people, just people in the worst situations who are obviously not very kind when you've been fucking stabbed in the back at 3 in the fucking morning and you're a criminal. But these are the people they're dealing with, and they're getting paid, like, median or slightly over median income.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, man, these people are dealing with a lot of fucking shit. They literally work 12-hour shifts regularly. Like, maybe we should pay them more. I mean, if we want, the nurses to take good care of us, maybe we should pay them more. I will say, I think you should add, like, there's a lot of schooling on knowledge for nurses. I think there should be at least a year dedicated to treatment of patients. Like
hospitality?
Yeah.
I'm sure there's a little bit, but I don't know that there's a whole class on it.
It's very little from my understanding. If any, it's very little. But they do go through fucking hard schooling. But that's my thing, is, like, you should be paying all of these social worker types way more fucking money.
Yeah, from my understanding, social workers don't get, like, actual child social workers don't get jack.
I don't mean just child.
But you social.
Yeah, like firefighters, police officers, actual, like, CPS people, nurses. Doctors already get paid a lot, but I think we should have more programs to where we pay for schooling of doctors so they don't have any student loan debts.
Apparently there is some programs, like, you know how, like, I talked about, like, Teach for America. If you teach at a low-income school, they'll repay some of your debt. Apparently some hospitals have started to do that with doctors, but usually you have to then travel to that location and work there for a contracted time.
Yeah, we've been doing that for a long time. I looked at that for Riverside back home. You go to school for free, but then you have to work there for, I think it's 2 years. But they do that already. I just think there should be more programs than there are.
Yeah.
Like, firefighters should make more money. I mean, just anybody that's in it. I mean, the crazy thing is, me saying this isn't going to be like, oh shit, this is crazy, he thinks this. No, this is normal things to think. Most people think this, and yet nothing happens. That's the crazy part. Is, like, If we took a fucking poll, majority of people would agree firefighters, nurses, police officers, and teachers, any type of social work should be paid more. And yet they aren't. I mean, I also think they should go through way more schooling. I think teaching should be one of the hardest jobs for you to ever get into.
Teaching is insanely... Oh my god.
I think, in my opinion, for you to be able to step in front of a child and tell them your opinions, you have to have gone through a lot of school. Because there's so... I would never put my child in a school. In a public school system. I mean, there's just so much shit you have to deal with. And I feel like teaching should probably be one of the hardest jobs to get into. Because it's probably the most important job in the world. There's probably two jobs. It has to be teaching, because if you think of the foundation of what happens in the world, you start as a child. If everybody starts as a child, then they learn how to be an adult over time. They learn right and wrong. They learn all these things, right? Then they're an adult. Okay, the next job would probably be police officer, because you have to control. Your job theoretically is to control what is going on, keeping bad people from doing bad things. Well, if they were taught right and wrong correctly, assuming they don't have any psychological problems or anything like that, then they would know right from wrong, and they would already understand why they shouldn't do wrong. You could basically almost eliminate police officers if nobody did wrong. And then the other argument would be, well, but what about the military? Well, if we taught people that war is wrong, killing people is wrong, all of these things are wrong, well, then we would all work together. You would have no need for a military. So all you have to do is ingrain certain beliefs systems into children, and all of a sudden you create a better society. If you better the knowledge of the children, you better the knowledge of society in the future. So teaching is the most important job, because that's where your future comes from, is from the kids. So every fucking moment of that kid's life is extremely important. And you put them in front of people that make $50,000 a fucking year. They make less than median most of the time. What the fuck? They go to school. Not for long enough, but they go to school. And then they make not enough money to fucking live. And then you want them to teach your kid. And then on top of that, instead of having 5 to 10 children per teacher, it's like 30 fucking kids.
Yeah.
How am I supposed to teach 30 fucking kids? I couldn't teach a room of 30 adults, bro. Like, teaching a room of 30 adults is fucking hard. And you want to teach a fucking classroom of 30 children who are already barely paying attention?
Yep.
What the fuck are we doing? Like, this is a recipe for having a fucking terrible society. And then on top of that, we don't teach them anything important. Instead of teaching them how the world works, let's teach them about how the fucking cotton gin was made. Why do you need to know about the cotton gin and the fucking printing press? Who gives a fuck? I'm not saying don't ever teach them about that.
But it doesn't.
But that's not an important fucking aspect of life. When you don't teach them about taxes, you don't teach them. You gloss over the monopoly law, but you don't teach them that, hey, in real life, currently, there are monopolies that are acting outside of the fucking law. You don't teach them that fucking Nestle is purposely poisoning children and killing fucking people. Oh, let's not teach them that. Because why? Because Nestle doesn't want a society where the children are smart enough to overthrow them. Because why? Because they're the real government. Fucking Donald Trump ain't the goddamn government. Elon Musk showed you that. He's fucking hailing Hitler at the goddamn conference like a psychopath. Fucking autistic lunatic. There was a funny fucking joke. I can't remember who said it, but it was like somebody basically said, "What did you expect to happen when you put a motherfucker with Asperger's in front of a fucking crowd of people and you get them all hyped up?" It was like he wasn't hailing Hitler; he was just stimming.
I did see that, yeah.
And I was like, probably
It's very possible,
because that
actually.
motherfucker looked like he was tweaking the fuck out. He looked like a little kid when you give him fucking what's that fucking pixie stick? You give a fucking little, and then you give them. I wanna find a little fat kid. This is gonna be terrible. I wanna
What?
find a little fat kid, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you know that movie Over the Hedge? I
Yeah.
just wanna like give him a bunch of fucking pixie sticks
Yeah.
and then like 3 Rockstar energy drinks and just shake his ass up and just see what happens.
He throws up on you?
No,
What do you mean?
He'll probably hail Hitler too.
Oh, God.
I wish I knew some crazy shit in German that I could just say and then freak everybody out. Then they all think I'm a Nazi. Even though my dad's black. I had to say that in case people thought I was white because you're white.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know. Some people, you know how they can like, well, we said before, they can listen to your voice, how you talk, and to see your accent. I want to know if some people can like listen to voices and see and identify like your.
Yes. Can you identify someone's race over voice? Yes.
Yeah.
I can do that 99% of the time. But also,
But not if they're using like heavy slang, like obvious
no,
slang.
there's different, even if you don't, use slang words, well, that doesn't really matter either because there are plenty of, because I'm assuming by slang you mean, I would assume that they're African American, but there are plenty of white people that use slang words.
Or even like white people that sound prissy.
Like there are, because the stereotype of ghetto talk, right? You would assume that's a black person, but there are plenty of black people that, look, for example, Neil deGrasse Tyson does not fucking talk ghetto. If I heard his voice, I would be able to know. Well, one, I'd be able to know it's Neil deGrasse Tyson, but I also think that I don't know how many people, I know I can usually identify the race of the person, or at least most of the time. But I don't need to, it's not about the way they, well, I guess it is the way they talk, but it's not about like stereotypical talk. No, Candace Owens doesn't talk very fucking ghetto. People are gonna think I'm like some hardcore Republican because I keep fucking quoting. I've quoted Andrew Tate and Candace
Candace
Owens,
Owen.
and then I've said, but I mean, I made a joke about Trump and Elon, and I'm assuming people know that was anti-Trump and Elon. Not fucking, I'm not a liberal either though. But what do you call it? I'm a fucking
Centrist?
I was gonna say abolitionist, and that's definitely a slavery thing. I mean, I would be an abolitionist if slavery actually does still exist. It's just in the prison systems. So I'm gonna say I'm an abolitionist. That's my
That's your political
I was
affiliation.
gonna actually say anarchist was the word I was looking for, and well, I guess abolitionist. I just think we should abolish the government. I don't actually know if I think that because then it would be like actual anarchy, and I don't know if I'm an actual anarchist. I think we should like march on the White House and, well, let me stop talking for, yeah, never mind. Lose my job.
Yeah.
We'll just cut that part out.
Out. It's okay. That part's gone.
But I mean, well, I mean, I guess I could be rewarded for it because January 6th. They'll actually be like, you know what? We respect your courage. We're gonna give you a promotion.
Now I'm confused if I'm supposed to cut it or not.
I don't know. Nobody knows who I am, I guess. I haven't said where I work, I guess. Imagine somebody from my job does find. I mean, how much time? You would have to, unless they are with me right now.
Right. Because they would then have to know my face.
Know way too much.
Or your voice.
Also, even if they did report it, I don't know that they could say anything. Like, it's not tied to me in any way. They'd have to prove it. I could just be like, that wasn't me. Like, my wife was talking to her cousin. Then they show them this clip, and they're like, "Really, it wasn't you? Well, you told us exactly that you were gonna tell us that. Actually,
That'd be
you told
rough.
us your crime and your fucking alibi in the same fucking sentence, you idiot." I'd be like, "Oh, yeah, you're right."
That's rough.
Dude, I was gonna say I have nothing to talk about, and now I've talked for like, oh, an hour. Cool. You don't know what the fuck I talked about.
I don't know, but I actually really enjoy editing these.
You know, I'd really enjoy
Mm.
fantasizing about a future that I have no idea what the fuck's gonna happen. That's what I do all day.
Yeah, I can tell when you send me statistics every
Dude,
hour
that was
about something
the
different.
most annoying thing that I did for some reason. I couldn't stop once I started. It was like I kept getting more and more invested, and I was like, I just want the answer, but you're not making this easy for me, and now I'm getting upset. I'm glad I have it now. It's kind of cool and interesting to look at, but it was kind of definitely pissing me off. I do think that shows the fucking failure of the government, though. At least local government.
Yeah.
Because how is it that
In 5 years, those
that's 10 years?
statistics have not improved at all.
It's
The
10
murder rate,
years.
rape. 10 years?
It's 10 years.
My favorite was when you sent me the rape statistics and you were like, in parentheses, rape is too far. We just murder you, because their murder was really high. And then the other
Yeah,
one
for
was
some
like,
reason, Portsmouth's
yeah.
rape rate was like, they were like the lowest in rape, but the highest in murder, and it's
Yeah.
like, oh, okay,
And then
I
the other
guess.
one was really high in rape, but really low in
Yeah, it was
murder.
Virginia Beach.
Oh, well.
They were high in rape number, but not per capita. Actual state ran website, so you would hope it's accurate, but also who knows how much Virginia Beach is actually reporting. You know, it'd be interesting if I made a similar chart for the schools.
On like what?
Like their test scores, because I think, yeah, because they have SOLs, because Virginia has SOLs. So if you went with SOLs and SAT scores and ACT scores, just any type of standardized testing, if you could look at that, and also maybe if they track like disciplinary actions in schools.
They definitely do, but I know for a fact at least the elementary school, it's common knowledge they don't report them properly. I don't know about the middle
Well, I'm
school
sure. I mean,
and
the
high
same thing
school.
with the crime. This is all self-reported stuff. Like, if plenty of crimes happen that go unreported. So this chick is just not good.
Not good.
Not good. Ooh, ooh, the brother looks even worse. God damn. They do some inbreeding, I know.
I kind of thought they were a couple. I didn't think that was
Oh, they're a
brother.
couple of fucking inbreeders.
I don't think they're. Okay.
Second generation. You saw the mom and dad too. Mom looked like goddamn fucking Shamu. And the bitch was missing teeth.
I did not see that. How did you see that from over here?
I see everything.